Okay then, Helldivers, it's been a hilariously up and down 48 hours as we've experienced a planetary bombardment. We've now experienced the Eagle Storm and we're currently mid-experience of the orbital blockade. The major order has been completed with nothing taking over its place until a certain objective is done, and we have got a lot to take a look at as you guys have, well, major appearances and your opinions very well known. With that being said, we're going to take a look at everything today. If you haven't already, smash that beautiful blue thumbs up, subscribe with post notifications turned on, it'd be greatly appreciated, and make sure you check out our sponsor Instant Gaming, the platform where you can buy your video games cheaper for PC and consoles. The best deals, offers, promotions and discounts, all running up to 70% off. They've got new games, pre-orders and so much more. So click the link in the description and get your games a little cheaper today. With that being said, let's take a look at what's happening inside of the game right now. So starting off, we have got our success mission. This one right here is with regards to the latest major order. Obviously we succeeded, but Helldivers is one of those main planets we need to take a look into before we actually manage to get our new major order. It states right here, after days of fighting, Helldivers is fallen to the automaton jet brigade. However, thanks to the shrewd maneuvering of the Helldivers, the DSS is safely out of their reach. The Helldivers, in their democratic direction of the DSS, displayed undeniable tactical brilliance, demonstrating once again why they are known as the galaxy's most elite fighting force. Their efforts held the automaton onslaught long enough to allow emergency evacuation efforts to save many citizens, many whom aided the construction of the space station. The Jet Brigade remains a significant threat. Meanwhile, the crisis created by the sudden and shocking outbreak at the Terminid Research Center is ongoing. The addition of this DSS to Liberty's arsenal, even in its diminished state, could not have come at a better time. Managed democracy is imperiled. We need every weapon at our disposal. And if we take a look at the galactic war map right now, we can see exactly what it is that is going on. So as it stands right here, the Jet Brigade is attacking Helldivers, which we do need to obviously make sure that we liberate. That one, with only 7,500 Helldivers on there, though, is looking pretty bleak. But at the same time, we have now got the DSS over here on Akmar 4, and we've also got 21,000 Helldivers here with the Terminid Research Preserve. So this is looking to be completed pretty damn soon, that's for sure. The major order that was won was obviously a big one, and this is something that we're now going to experience. Hopefully a new major order coming today at some stage. It's not really that likely. They don't really issue new MOs on the weekend, and there's nobody in the office. As we all know, a lot of things went wrong with the overall Democracy Space Station having the secondary Eagle Storm, and then somebody had to go into the office to fix it. So we know that nobody's there this weekend, so we're going to have to wait for a new MO coming tomorrow more than likely. But whilst we've got this up on screen, the Democracy Space Station, you can see right here the planetary bombardment's got 5 days, 13 hours remaining on it, with the Eagle Storm having 3 days, 13 hours remaining on it. And yeah, that's an absolute nightmare. I don't like time gates when it comes to sort of game content like this. I think that it's a bit ridiculous that we have to use them in certain orders, and then this one has a week cooldown. A week? That is a long time. But right now we've got the orbital blockade, which has the Hellpod space optimization booster automatically active for all missions, which is pretty cool. Don't get me twisted. It is pretty clever as to how that one actually works. But yeah, it's not really going to be such a big outcome on an overall. You guys have got numerous amounts of boosters, and it's not really that important to have this. So we'll see exactly how this operates. But overall, the Eagle Storm had a much better reception than what the planetary bombardment did. And I can't imagine the orbital blockade is going to have really much of a reception at all. I'll be surprised if anybody is like in love with this main action. But the Eagle Storms seem to have done a lot better than everything else. So fingers crossed they can have that input and kind of work around it. And taking a look at the Reddit, you guys have had a lot to say with regards to it. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. One post that had over 10,000 upvotes on it is this right here that states, Arrowhead bombing the S out of us with the DSS after getting review bombed on Steam. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We're now even. Now take it back. Take that planetary bombardment back and rework it. We've learnt our lesson, that's for sure. But this next one right here states, Eagle Storm proves one thing. Dozens of precise strafing runs are not only visually epic, they actually do what they are intended, killing only the enemies and not team killing the Helldivers. It works wonders, and I'm sure everyone agrees, is what the orbital bombardment should have been. This brings up my second point: the planetary bombardment should not be 380mm barrages. Instead, it should be an orbital precision strike. Its precision is just the Eagle's strafing run, and with the right coding, we'll be able to fire multiple times at the only enemies and not Helldivers. I believe Arrowhead should simply change this alone, and the problem will hopefully be fixed. The DSS will be useful on liberation campaigns, and the player base shouldn't worry about the risk of death from random 380mm barrages. Now, actually, this is a really good point, and this received a 2.7 thousand upvotes, so a lot of you guys obviously agree. It's definitely something that we need to take into consideration. I think the precision strikes would work really well. What do you guys think? But you guys are enjoying the Eagle Storm so much. It's unfortunately on a cooldown now for the next 3 to 4 days, so yeah, that's unfortunate. But you guys can see right here that this opinion got quite a lot of upvotes as well. It says the planetary bombardment is hot garbage, but the Eagle Storm does 0 team kill, eradicates patrols with 1 strafe, shows the kill count at least to the host, haven't tried otherwise, and people are reasonably outraged by the planetary bombardment, and the Eagle Storm did nothing for the first couple of hours, but it now works, and it works amazingly. People need to see this. Yeah, you kind of got to be one of those points. You can say when it's bad, you can say when it's good. And I personally think that the Eagle Storm is exactly what this should have been. Now, unfortunately, this shouldn't classify as new content because realistically, it's not. There's no new missions. There's no new enemy types. There's no new really anything. We're just utilizing what we've got in different formations and automatically. So I think it's one of those, we shouldn't be too upset overall, but if they can kind of rework it so that the planetary bombardment is at least as useful and as helpful as the Eagle Storm, then the DSS could be a really good thing going forward. That's just my personal opinion, and I don't know how you guys think about that one, but this one right here states, and I think I agree with this comment the most: in an effort to make the DSS democracy even more managed, I propose we hide the percent of votes on each planet before a diver casts their ballot. Don't let the player hive mind sway the Helldivers. Obscure the votes, Super Earth. Now, I really agree with this one. I think that actually it would be so useful because people will just look for the highest one and go, we must need to put it over there. That's where it's going to go. I don't really understand why you would have the percentages. It makes sense to a degree, but I think if you hide them and just pick a planet that you want to send it to, it will collaborate all of those votes and send it to the planet that it needs to send it to. I don't think anybody could complain about that. That for me would probably be the best way forward. At least then it's not going to a planet that we don't need it on. And this idea has got 8,000 upvotes and it's probably one of the best ideas. If they're not going to change the planetary bombardment, then this should be put into place. I feel like having the planetary bombing be a zone that moves around the map that players can avoid would be better than just firing randomly on the map. Now, I completely agree with this. We should be able to see it on the map. We should know exactly where the destruction zones are, and it should be a visual aspect. We shouldn't just know that it's coming because that does nothing. With a 380, it's carnage, man. It's absolutely carnage. It's always been carnage, and now we just don't know where it's landing. So yeah, I think that this one is a really good solid vote, and you guys with 8,000 upvotes all obviously agree. But taking a look at your top comments really quickly, it states, honestly, this game and everything that happens inside and outside of it has been a wild ride. I'm glad to be a part of this community and all its dramas. I'm literally never bored. And I've never really looked at it like that, but yeah, 100%. Unfortunately though, with all of the dramas that do come into play, it will obviously have a negative effect on the player base who don't look at it like that. So we may naturally lose numbers if things obviously don't make a turnaround, because realistically we're seeing a lot of common trends with Arrowhead on a basis of they release something, it's not good, they listen to us, they change it the way we want it, and then all of a sudden the game is 10 times better. I can't talk for everybody in the community, but what I can say is for me, that cycle is getting a little bit old now. Moving into the next comment right here, though, it states DSS giving extra stratagem slot would be awesome. Just imagine the loadout with 5 slots. I think it'd be really cool. I think that we should have the option for all 3 actions in one go. Now that we know the cooldowns are there, it makes a lot more sense as to why we only get use of 1 at a time. But I think overall, we should be able to just use these things at our own disposal as long as we've got the right things that have been donated to it. Allow us to use all 3. I think it'd be crazy. If you had it as a selective modifier before you landed on the planet, you'd have access to all 3 pieces, and then whatever you wanted to utilize out of those 3, that would be pretty damn cool. Give us access to all 3 and maybe let us pick between the 3 before we go on the planet. That's my personal opinion. At least then it's subjective to every single team that want to utilize something different. Anywho, unfortunately, that's all we got time for today. Thank you so much again for watching, guys. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, appreciate your faces, and as always, I'll see you in the clouds.